The fastest growing retiree spot in America right now is not in Florida. It is a sun-baked town in southern New Mexico. Most people could not find on a map, and retirees are pouring into it faster than almost anywhere else in the country. That is number 4, and the reason will surprise you. But we start where the numbers get really interesting. Because here is what nobody selling you a dream retirement wants to say out loud. Where retirees are actually moving in 2026 is not where the brochures say. Nearly 15 million Americans have picked up and moved recently. Around 88% of them did it to save money, and the map they are drawing looks nothing like the one from 20 years ago. So we did the homework. We pulled the migration data from the moving companies and the IRS filing records. We pulled the median home prices, the property tax rates, the state income tax rules, the insurance reality, and the true cost of health care. 15 places. And every single one has to pass 3 tests. Retirees have to be genuinely moving there, backed by real 2026 data, not a hunch and not a guess. It has to come with a real stated cost, the median home, the taxes, the money factors that actually decide things on a fixed income. And it has to come with one honest catch, the thing the glossy ads skip right over. Whether that is the insurance, the climate, the health care, or the 2-hour drive to the nearest good hospital. Because a low sticker price can hide a brutal insurance bill. A no-income tax headline can hide a property tax trap. And a gorgeous little town can hide the fact that the closest specialist is in the next state. Our whole job today is to read that fine print out loud so you don't find it out the hard way after the moving truck leaves. Let's get into it. Number 15 on our way up, and we start where you'd expect. Florida. Everybody wrote Florida off. Too crowded, too expensive, too hot. And yet the single strongest inbound retirement town in the entire country is still here. The Villages, that sprawling planned community north of Orlando, pulls in roughly 3.5 retirees for every one who leaves. The golf carts, the activities, the built-in social life, it still works. Retirees keep choosing it, and the ranking data backs that up. Here is what it costs. Across the popular central Florida retirement towns like Ocala and the Villages, median home prices sit somewhere in the mid-300s as of early 2026. Though you can still find smaller homes below that. Florida has no state income tax, which is the whole draw, so your Social Security and your pension stay yours. Property taxes are moderate, helped by the homestead exemption. And now the catch, the one that changed everything. Homeowners insurance. Florida has been in an insurance crisis for years, and premiums in a lot of the state now run several times the national average. According to state insurance data, some retirees who move for the low taxes are quietly paying more to insure the house every year than a northern retiree pays in state income tax. Add in the reality of hurricane season, the roof inspections, and the carriers that keep pulling out of the market, and the picture gets clearer. The sticker price of the house is not the problem in Florida. The cost of protecting it is. Run that insurance quote before you fall for the golf cart lifestyle, not after, which is exactly why the next state quietly stole Florida's crown. Number 14, Beaufort, South Carolina. At the state level, South Carolina is back on top as one of the most popular inbound states in the country, and the Low Country is a big reason why. Beaufort sits between Charleston and Savannah, all live oaks and salt marsh, and retirees are choosing it for a specific unsexy reason: the property taxes. According to Tax Foundation figures, South Carolina has some of the lowest effective property tax rates in the nation, and the state gives homeowners over 65 an extra break on top of that. The cost breakdown. Median home prices around Beaufort run higher than inland, often in the low to mid 400s near the water, but the yearly carrying cost is gentle. South Carolina does tax income, but it exempts a healthy chunk of retirement income, and Social Security is not taxed at the state level at all. For a lot of pensioners, that is the number that matters. The honest catch. Coastal insurance, wind and flood coverage on the South Carolina coast is not cheap, and it has been climbing. If you buy near the water, budget for it before you fall in love with the view. The marsh is free. Insuring your house against the storm that blows across it is not. If that coastal premium scares you, the same state has an answer just 2 hours inland. Number 13. Greenville, South Carolina. This is the hedge. Up in the upstate, tucked against the Blue Ridge, Greenville has quietly become one of the most livable small cities in the South. And retirees are catching on. You get the same low South Carolina property taxes and the same retirement income breaks, but you are hundreds of miles from a hurricane track. So the coastal insurance problem simply disappears. The cost. Median home prices in and around Greenville tend to run more affordable than the coast, frequently in the low to mid 300s as of early 2026, and the walkable downtown means you are not driving 45 minutes for a loaf of bread. Healthcare is solid, anchored by a large regional hospital system. The catch is a smaller one, and it is honest. Greenville has been discovered. Prices that were a genuine steal 5 or 6 years ago have climbed as the crowds arrived, and the traffic on the main corridors has thickened right along with the population. You will also find the summers humid, and the pollen in spring is no joke for anyone with allergies. None of that undoes the value. It just means Greenville is a smart buy today rather than the buried secret it was a few years back. Get in before it climbs further. Now the one we teased at the very start. This is the number that surprised us most. Number 12. Wait. Number 4. This is the one. Las Cruces, New Mexico. We told you the fastest growing retiree spot was not in Florida. And here it is. By move-in ratio, Las Cruces ranks as one of the very strongest inbound cities in the whole country, pulling roughly 3.5 arrivals for every departure. Retirees are landing here for dry desert air. The Oregon mountains glowing pink at sunset, a real university town's worth of culture, and a cost of living that undercuts almost every other Sunbelt destination. Say it right, by the way. Las Cruces. The niche gets mocked for mangling these names, and this audience notices here is the money, and this is why people are moving. Median home prices in Las Cruces have run in the neighborhood of the high 200s to around 300,000 as of early 2026, well under the national figure. New Mexico has rolled back its tax on Social Security for most middle-income retirees, so that check goes further here than it does in a lot of places. Property taxes are low. The sun shines nearly every day, the winters are mild, and your dollar simply stretches. On paper, a fixed income breathes easy in Las Cruces, and the migration numbers show retirees have noticed. But here is the honest catch, and it is a real one. Water and distance. This is the desert Southwest, and long-term water supply is a genuine question mark across the whole region, the kind of thing that shapes decades, not just years. And while Las Cruces has good day-to-day medical care, for serious specialty treatment, you may be driving 45 minutes to El Paso, or getting on a plane. That remoteness is the trade you make for the low price tag. For a healthy 65-year-old, it barely registers. At 80, with a heart condition, that drive is the whole ballgame. Be honest with yourself about which one you'll be. Speaking of low taxes, let's go somewhere that has none at all. Number 11. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This is the rural surprise of 2026. South Dakota has become the top rural relocation destination in the country, and the driver is blunt. There is no state income tax. None. Not on your pension, not on your Social Security, not on a dime of it. For a retiree living on a fixed check, South Dakota is one of the friendliest tax states in America. The cost. Sioux Falls, the biggest city, offers median home prices that have generally sat in the low 300s, with plenty of options below that in the smaller towns nearby. Property taxes are moderate, and the state has a surprisingly strong healthcare footprint for its size, anchored by 2 large hospital systems headquartered right there in the city. And the catch. Say it with us. Winter. South Dakota winters are long, cold, and serious. The kind with wind that finds every gap in your coat and mornings where the car does not want to start. If you are chasing warmth, this is not your place, and no tax break in the world makes January in Sioux Falls feel like Florida. But here is the honest flip side. Some retirees genuinely love the 4 real seasons, the quiet and the friendliness of a smaller state. If you can handle the cold and you keep every dollar of your income while you do it, few states in America treat a retiree better than this one. Now to the state that by one key measure is beating everybody. Number 10. Idaho. By in-to-out ratio, Idaho leads every state in the country, with more than 2 people moving in for every 1 leaving. Retirees have been flocking to the Boise area for years now, drawn by 4 real seasons, endless outdoor recreation, and a slower, friendlier pace than the coast they left behind. The cost, and here's where we have to be straight with you. Idaho's secret is out, and the price has followed. Median home prices in the Boise area have climbed well into the 400s, which is no longer the bargain it was a decade ago. Idaho does tax income, though it exempts some retirement income, and property taxes remain reasonable. The honest catch is affordability itself. Idaho earned its number 1 ranking by being a value, and that very popularity is now pricing out the next wave of retirees showing up at the door. It is the classic trap of a place that gets discovered. If Boise is out of reach, and for a lot of fixed incomes it now is, look hard at the smaller cities like Idaho Falls or Twin Falls, where your dollar still stretches and the same friendly, 4-season lifestyle is waiting. The window on cheap Idaho is closing a little more every year. That is just the truth, and we would rather you hear it from us than learn it from a listing. If you're finding this useful, do us one small favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach other folks planning the same move, and it costs you nothing. That's it. Now let's get to the one for the land buyers and the veterans, because this one is special. Number 9. Northwest Arkansas. If your retirement dream involves a few acres, a garden, and elbow room, Arkansas belongs on your list. Up in the northwest corner, around Fayetteville and Bella Vista, retirees are buying land at prices that feel like a typo compared to the coasts. Arkansas consistently ranks among the best states for affordable land, with low property taxes and below average healthcare costs. And here is the one that matters. If you served, Arkansas exempts military retirement pay from state income tax entirely, every dollar of it. For a retired veteran on a military pension, that is real money kept in your pocket every single month. The cost. Land runs cheap here, and median home prices around the region have generally sat in the mid-200s to low 300s as of early 2026. Property taxes are among the lowest in the country. Social Security is not taxed by the state. The catch: rural Arkansas means rural health care. In the bigger towns like Fayetteville, you're in good shape, with a solid hospital network close by. But the further out you buy for that cheap land, the further you are from specialty care, from the emergency room, and from the ambulance that has to reach you first. This is the single most important number nobody puts on a land listing. Measure the drive to the nearest good hospital in real minutes before you sign anything. On a fixed income with aging bodies, 10 quiet acres are wonderful right up until the moment they aren't. From cheap southern land we head to the mountains, where the land is a different story. Number 8. The Flathead Valley, Montana. Northwest Montana, up around Kalispell and Whitefish, with Glacier National Park practically in the backyard. Retirees who want big sky wilderness and genuine four-season beauty are moving here, and there is a real cost advantage hiding in the land. Montana land has run around $2,900 an acre against the national average north of $5,000. If you want acreage with a mountain view, Montana gives you more of it for the money. The cost picture. Montana has no state sales tax, which helps day to day, and it does not tax Social Security for most retirees. But home prices in the desirable valleys have climbed with demand, often into the 400s and well beyond in the resort towns. So the cheap land does not always mean a cheap house. The honest catch is twofold. Mountain West prices have been rising fast for a decade now, so the deal is not what your brother-in-law found back in 2015. And distance to serious healthcare is real. Kalispell has a solid regional medical center, which helps a great deal. But Montana is a big, empty state. And if you buy out on those cheap, remote acres, help is far away and the winters are long and hard. Snow that is charming at 50 can be genuinely dangerous at 80. Beautiful is not the same thing as convenient. And in Montana, that gap is measured in miles of unplowed road, now to a place that quietly checks almost every box. Number 7. Knoxville, Tennessee. Tennessee has one enormous thing going for it: no state income tax at all. And Knoxville, sitting in the foothills of the Smokies, pairs that with something a lot of cheap places cannot offer: real healthcare. The city is home to a major academic medical center, which for a retiree is worth its weight in gold. The cost. Median home prices in the Knoxville area have generally run in the low to mid 300s as of early 2026, and the surrounding towns run cheaper. No income tax means your entire retirement check is yours. Property taxes are moderate, and the overall cost of living sits comfortably below the national average. The catch here is a gentler one, and we will be straight about it. Knoxville has grown popular, so prices have risen off their old lows, and the best neighborhoods move quickly when they hit the market. And while the Smokies are gorgeous, the summers are humid and sticky, and the region gets its share of severe spring storms rolling through. Neither of those is a deal breaker. They are just the honest trade. For the combination of zero income tax and genuine access to a major medical center, which is a pairing that is genuinely hard to find, Knoxville earns its spot on this list, which brings us to the state everybody assumes is the cheapest. It is not that simple. Number 6. San Antonio and the Texas Hill Country. Texas is famous for having no state income tax, and retirees keep pouring into the hill country around San Antonio for the wide open space, the warm winters, and the big city medical care of the San Antonio Hospital Corridor. On the surface, it looks like a fixed income paradise. Here is the cost, and here is where you have to read the fine print. Median home prices around San Antonio have sat in the reasonable range, often low to mid 300s as of early 2026, cheaper than most big Texas metros. But that no income tax headline hides the real bill. Property tax. Texas has some of the highest property tax rates in the entire country, and there is no state income tax, precisely because the state leans so hard on your home to raise its revenue. According to Tax Foundation data, a Texas homeowner can easily pay far more in annual property tax than a retiree pays in income tax in a state that does tax income. Texas does offer strong homestead and over 65 exemptions, including a school tax freeze once you turn 65, and you should absolutely claim every one of them. But do the full math with those exemptions applied on the specific house you are looking at in the specific county. The no income tax sticker is only half the story, and the other half arrives every single year in your mailbox. Let's go somewhere the heat is the honest headline. Number 5. Tucson, Arizona. Down in southern Arizona, Tucson gives you the desert Southwest at a lower price than Phoenix, with the Santa Catalina Mountains framing the city and more than 300 days of sunshine a year. Retirees have long favored Arizona, and Tucson is the value play, drawing folks who want the dry air without the big city Phoenix price tag. The cost. Median home prices in Tucson have generally run in the low to mid 300s as of early 2026, under the national number. Arizona does not tax Social Security, and its income tax is low and flat, which is friendly to retirees. The overall cost of living is manageable. The catch, and it is not a small one, summer heat. Tucson summers are genuinely brutal, with long stretches well over 100 degrees, and your cooling bill from May through September is a real line item on the budget, not a footnote. Some retirees handle it by becoming part-timers north in the summer and Tucson in the winter, but that is 2 housing costs, not 1. And like all of the desert Southwest, long-term water supply is a serious regional question that is not going away. You are trading the coast's insurance problem for the desert's heat and water problem. That is the theme of this entire countdown. Every single place has its fine print. The only question is which kind you can live with. Now to a coast where the fine print is the whole story. Number 4 in our count up, and this one comes with a warning. Coastal North Carolina. The Cape Fear coast around Wilmington has been pulling retirees for years with its beaches, its mild winters, and a charming historic downtown. And homes here can genuinely be more affordable than the beach towns of Florida or South Carolina, with median prices around the region often in the mid-300s to low 400s as of early 2026. North Carolina taxes income at a low flat rate and does not tax Social Security. But here is the catch that has to be said plainly, because it can cost you everything. The flood map. Coastal North Carolina takes direct hurricane hits, and both wind insurance and federal flood insurance can add thousands of dollars a year to your cost of ownership. According to federal flood program data, the difference between a home just inside a high-risk flood zone and one just outside it can reshape your entire budget. Before you buy anywhere near this coast, pull the flood zone and get an insurance quote in writing. That number, not the home price, decides whether you can actually afford to live there. Let's climb up out of the flood zone and into the mountains. Number 3, North Georgia and the Blue Ridge foothills. Up in the northern Georgia mountains, towns near the Blue Ridge are drawing retirees who want cool summers, fall color, and hiking out the back door, all within reach of Atlanta's world-class hospital network. That last part matters more than the views. You get mountain living without being hours from a major medical center. The cost. Median home prices in the North Georgia foothills have generally run in the reasonable range, often mid-200s to mid-300s as of early 2026, depending how close you are to Atlanta. Georgia is genuinely one of the more tax-friendly states for retirees. It does not tax Social Security, and it exempts a large amount of retirement income for residents 65 and older. The catch. The closer you get to Atlanta's medical care and airport, the higher the prices and the heavier the traffic. Buy deep in the mountains and you save money, but add distance to the hospital. It is the same trade we keep seeing. Cheaper and remote or pricier and connected. You pick which, one your health and your budget can carry. Almost to the top. One more real place before the honest reveal. Number 2, Prescott, Arizona. If Tucson's heat scared you off Arizona, Prescott is the answer, and retirees have figured that out. Sitting at a mile high in the mountains of central Arizona, Prescott gets 4-mile seasons, even a little snow, with none of the desert floor summer inferno. It is one of the most sought-after retirement towns in the state, all pine trees and a historic courthouse square. The cost. And here is the honest tension. That perfect climate is not a secret, so Prescott is not cheap. Median home prices have run higher than Tucson, frequently in the mid-400s as of early 2026. You still get Arizona's retiree-friendly tax treatment, with no tax on Social Security and a low flat income tax. But the housing carries a premium. The catch is affordability, plain and simple, plus one hard Western reality: wildfire. Living up in the pines means fire season is part of life, and that affects both your peace of mind and, increasingly, your insurance premium and whether a carrier will write you a policy at all. Prescott is proof of a rule that runs through this entire list. The nicer the weather, the more you pay to live in it, one way or another. There is no free perfect climate in America. There is only the one you can afford, with the risk you have decided you can live beside. Which brings us, finally, to number one. And number one is not a place. Here is what 15 destinations taught us. There is no single best place to retire in 2026. Anyone who hands you one answer is selling you something. Because watch what happened every time. Florida had no income tax and then handed you an insurance bill that ate the savings. Texas had no income tax and then taxed your house instead. Las Cruces was cheap and then put the specialist an hour away. Prescott was perfect and then priced you out. Every place gives with one hand and takes with the other. So the best place to retire is not the flashiest one, and it is not the one with the prettiest thumbnail. It is wherever the total math actually works. Housing plus property tax plus income tax plus insurance plus the real cost and real distance of your health care. Add all five together. That total, not the home price, is the number that tells you whether a fixed income can breathe there. And there is one more part of the math that never shows up on a spreadsheet, and it might be the most important line of all. Your people. The cheapest paradise in America is a lonely one if your kids and your grandkids and your oldest friends are 2 time zones away and a plane ticket you can barely swing. We have watched retirees chase a bargain 1,000 miles from everyone they love, save real money on paper, and spend it right back on flights home for every birthday and every scare. Home is where your money and your people both stretch the furthest. Sometimes that is a bargain town in South Dakota. Sometimes it is a mild little city in New Mexico. And sometimes, honestly, it is staying right where you already are, claiming the over 65 exemptions you already qualify for, and never packing a single box. Run your own numbers. All 5 of them added together on the actual house in the actual zip code. And then run the drive to the people you love. Whichever total lets you breathe, that is your answer. And nobody on the internet can hand it to you but you. If this helped you think a little clearer about the move, do us that favor and hit subscribe, because we run the real cost breakdown on a new place every single week, with the numbers checked and the catch said out loud. And if you know someone dreaming about this exact move, share this with them. It might save them from a very expensive mistake. One last honest note, because you deserve it. This is not financial or relocation advice. Home prices, taxes, insurance rates, and migration rankings all change through the year, sometimes fast. Every number here is a starting point, not a promise. Before you move a single box, verify the current figures for your own situation, your own zip code, and your own income. Do that, and you will make this decision the way you have made every smart one before it. Eyes open, math done. Take care of yourselves out there.